Okay, I'd like to call this meeting to order, and, oh, that's right, we have Deb tonight. And Deb, you have the roll recorded? Yes. Okay, and if we can please stand and salute the flag. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Okay, and we are going to be adjusting the agenda slightly as we move ahead. We'll be waiting for the mayor to arrive a little bit later tonight. If we finish before he gets here, we're going to take a recess and we'll re-adjourn when he does arrive. So at this point in time, because this was initially defined as talking about budget, before we get to number B on the boiler replacement, I'm going to be asking that this is the time for the board actually to have any discussion on the budget and everything. After we go through the other items on the agenda, then I will be opening it back up for the public to discuss. So at this point in time, if there's any questions for Mr. Simonetta on the budget, any of the presentation from last week, would be a great time to ask him. Yes.
I have a question for Mr. Simonetta. And I was just to follow up on last week's meeting, I was wondering how far along Mr. Simonetta has been with the request that the teachers union has presented to him to look at for cost savings.
Well, we received that list, a little while ago, probably a couple months ago. I think a lot of it's been received in the district even before this year, and my understanding is some of the things were looked at, but since it came into my possession, some of the things have already been addressed. Some of the issues were looked at and did not appear to be feasible. Some of the issues need to be done and discussed through collective bargaining, and a lot of the issues on there are to be determined, to be quite frank with you. There's things there that will involve a little more research, but we are looking at everything that's there and other options as well, as I said last week.
Just to follow up, a lot of the some of the proposals brought forth, you said would be taken care of under collective bargaining. So obviously that's not made private. Some of the things, or that's not public. Some of the things that can be addressed publicly, once you reach your determination, can we bring them forward publicly so we can discuss where we're at with them, if they make sense, if they don't, or what have you?
Certainly, it would be a recommendation of myself and the administration to move any of the suggestions forward once we decide what savings, if any, and if it's feasible to do in our program.
Sounds good. Thank you.
Other questions?
I'll ask a question.
Go.
If it's asked me, I couldn't answer. I hate to ask this. What does it take, like, somebody you know, maybe the lawyer you know, what does it take to get on the ballot with a referendum to raise taxes beyond what the state allows us to raise?
I can answer preliminary. We would have had to approve a preliminary budget prior to January, I think, 21st, a preliminary budget, and saying we're going to go and put a request on the ballot to exceed the cap. And that would have had to occur back in January. And but if you recall, back then we made the decision as a board not to exceed the cap for this budget year.
Thank you.
Other questions? Any questions that we have for Mike about the budget? Yep. Seeing none other at this point, I'm going to ask that we move forward in the agenda then. And we'll skip down to the boiler replacement. Mike?
Yes, we have the results of the bidding for the boiler replacement at Paxton School for this summer. And the good news is that the winning bid came in under budget, and I would request approval from the board at the board meeting to award the bid and get this project on the books for this summer. It's going to take pretty much every bit of the summer to complete, so we need to get this moving, all the paperwork moving right away.
Okay. Any questions on that? Budget's what we've been talking about, and you don't have any other further information. Frank?
I have a question on the boiler. As some of you know, since before the election, I've been researching the energy savings plans that are out there. I spoke to Mr. Simonetta briefly about it, and we're going to meet to discuss it. But there's some programs out there with a company out of Pittsburgh that has done work for the state capitol, other school districts in PA, the city of Easton, Allentown. They're working on the airport now. The savings are phenomenal from everything I've seen. So I'm trying to put everything together, present it to Mike for him to look over and review. But one of the things under their energy savings plans are the boilers, and that would be replaced with more energy efficient boilers and things of that nature. So my question is, could we hold the boiler in committee before we send it to full board until we have a chance to look at that to see if it makes sense for us before we start replacing boilers, if this option is something that's going to benefit us?
Well, I don't believe Henry is here, but I will tell you that the boilers that we're spec'd in this bid are the latest, newest, energy efficient, and just from my experience from a year ago with another district, these new boilers will be able to be retrofitted if even need be, any kind of energy savings plan that we would do in the future.
Okay. Thank you.
Okay, moving down. At this point in time, I'll ask if there's anybody in the audience that would like to address any of the items on the agenda, with the exception of the KOZ that Mayor Pando will present a little bit later. If so, I ask that you would come forward, sign in, please, state your name and address, and then obviously address the board.
Oh, there's no pen up here? Sorry, thank you. Good evening. My name is Jessica Drysted, and I'm the Executive Director of Family Connection of Easton. I'm here to ask you to reconsider the proposal to eliminate funding for our organization. Family Connection is the family center in the Easton Area School District and was founded in partnership with Cheston staff in 1998. The purpose of Family Connection is to help students in the Easton Area School District be more successful in school by providing early childhood education programs, after-school programs, removing barriers to learning, supporting and engaging families, and creating family-school community partnerships. We currently serve all 7 elementary schools in the Easton Area School District, as well as 5th and 6th grade in the Easton Area Middle School. Family Connections research and evidence-based programs have had a significant positive impact in our community. Our programs and services have improved school readiness, increased academic performance, and strengthened family self-sufficiency, reaching thousands of students and families in the city of Easton and surrounding communities. Family Connection serves the most vulnerable students in our school district, those who are young and those whose families may not have the support, the means, or the knowledge to help them be successful in school. Family Connection of Easton is an independent 501c3 organization that is fully integrated within the Easton Area School District. The district is a key component of our mission Everything that our organization does supports and builds upon school district activities. Senior administrators, principals, teachers, and other school staff have always served and continue to serve on our board of directors. In the past 6 years, Family Connection has raised over $1.5 million to support the most vulnerable students in the Easton Area School District. This represents more than a 3-to-1 return on investment of school district funds. We also help the school district save money by intervening with students before they start kindergarten, often preventing the need for costly ESL and special education services. Our programs have brought local, regional, and national attention to our school district. This Thursday, I'll be participating in a full-day site visit with the Coalition for Community Schools at our local United Way to discuss integration of a new education capacity building initiative for those who serve students aged birth through 8 years. It's an honor for Family Connection to be considered as a lead partner for a pilot program that will only be implemented in a handful of communities around the country. Without school district funding, Family Connection would transition from a thriving organization that is able to attract significant resources to our struggling community to facing the possibility of closing our doors within 12 to 18 months. We understand that these are difficult times and have personally experienced the challenges of economic changes. Family Connection lost 2 streams of funding, reducing our annual budget and services offered by 33%. The school district's allocation for Family Connection represents over a third of our remaining organizational budget and 25% of our workforce. Losing this core funding would be devastating not only to our organization, but to our community. I'll be sending school board members some more detailed information, and I would just like to let you know that you can always call or email me should you have any questions. We definitely welcome the opportunity to work together towards creative solutions. Thank you so much for your time.
Thank you.
Good evening. My name is Frida Fries, and I am currently employed as the Educational Support Coordinator with Family Connection of Easton, the family center in the Easton Area School District. Dr. McGinley, board members, thank you for this time. I retired from Easton Area School District in 2005 with 27-plus years experience as an elementary teacher. In my early years as a teacher, I often felt frustrated because there were students in my classroom whose families did not know how to support them in their education. Some of my students were not able to concentrate in school because they did not eat breakfast or had no heat in their home. I did not have the expertise to help students and families with these problems. I was grateful when Family Connection started in 1998 because they were able to help me focus on teaching while helping students and families with basic needs and getting families more involved in their child's education at home and at school. As a teacher, I relied on Family Connection to provide the extra support needed to the most vulnerable students in my classroom and their families. Today, in my current role with Family Connection, I organize parent workshops at Paxenosa and Cheston schools. These workshops help parents prepare for parent-teacher conferences and learn strategies to help their child with reading and math and writing. We also talk about developing a routine at home and the importance of that routine, and helping students with their homework. I also support Family Connections or a program called Parents Who Care. It's a family wellness and parenting education program, and I provide these families with resources related to the topics that I just mentioned before. I provide support to the Parent-Child Home Program, a program for 2- and 3-year-olds. It's a research and evidence-based early childhood education program for students who do not have access to preschool. I use my expertise as a teacher to train our staff about using standardized assessments and home visiting best practices. I also meet one-on-one with families whose children are not meeting the developmental benchmarks to both coach the parents and to make referrals to the intermediate unit or early intervention. This helps to prepare children and families for school by establishing an IEP if necessary and having services in place before kindergarten. It also helps to prepare the school to meet the unique needs of these children. Through my early involvement and weekly support of the home visitors that go into the home, students in the Parent-Child Home Program have progressed in their academic, motor, speech, and social skills. Many students start our program with no knowledge of letters, numbers, shapes, or colors. Some of them have never been exposed to books. By the end of the program, most children are enthusiastic about learning and have developed a foundational literacy and math skills. I am here to ask that you please reconsider cutting the funds to Family Connection so we can continue to serve the most critical needs of the children and families in our school district. And again, thank you for your time and consideration.
Thank you.
Hello, good evening. My name is Mike Phillips. I'm a Palmer community member. Take this up a little bit. Tonight I represent a growing population in our community that are frustrated, confused, and frankly upset with what could potentially happen this year with the reduction in staff. I am an active member of the community. I'm a taxpayer. I'm a parent of 2 children in the district, and I'm an educator for 15 years. Tonight I would like for you to listen, but more importantly, hear suggestions about saving millions of dollars in our budget. In its past time, that is, our district considers cuts, please do not involve cutting teachers. Ways we can cut the budget. I'm going to list a number of ways. First one, transportation. Outsource transportation. Sell the buses that we own and do away with class trips. Second one, computers. There's no reason why we need to sign up with Apple Computers $1 million+ contract. We do not need the upgrade right now. Pull out of the deal. Teachers are more important than computers. We have computers. Everyone has computers at home. Supplies budgeted. Just the basics and let the teachers teach. New incentives are constantly being introduced, causing the district to spend more on materials and training. Use a website number. I'm using the website numbers, and it came to $4.3 million. We can cut some of this money. I'm telling you, we can cut right here. Positive advertising throughout the schools and in the buses and the school boards. We could generate hundreds of thousands of dollars for the district. Other local school districts are going to this, Parkland, Bethlehem. It is something definitely need to be addressed and discussed. A 2.2% increase on a house assessed for the tax purposes at $75,000 would mean an annual increase of $88. That is $7.33 a month. $7.33 a month. That is less than a pizza. That is less than a pizza. That's what we're debating over. 2.2% increase. That is nothing. Last year, our school taxes were reduced by $209 for 15,843 households in the Easton Area School District due to the casino tax relief or the Homestead Act. Estimates say that we will receive about the same this year. Technically, the reduction in the casino tax relief is a little over 5% for a home assessed at $75,000. Again, I'm using the numbers from the newspaper. So if you increase taxes by 2.2%, and personally I would increase them by 4% at least, because that's only still $13.31 a month, you technically still receive a reduction in taxes. It is a no-brainer. You're still receiving less than what you should be paying. Early retirements are a win-win situation for everyone. Please consider these. Have a community committee for the next month go through this area of the budget that we can cut. In previous meetings, Mr. Simonetta stated that $12.42 million is all that's left in the budget that is not committed. Let's really try to cut $3 million from there. I am challenging the district tonight to set up this committee. I will be happy to attend and make arrangements to be actively involved anytime, any day. Consolidate supervisors in the district. In my district, it was done and we saved close to $800,000. These are some suggestions that I urge you to consider. I have to say I am shocked and disappointed with the horrific financial mismanagement over the last couple of years, especially last year. The budget fund last year was more than $20 million, and it is currently now listed as $3.8 million. Taxpayers have the right to know what happened to millions of our dollars. Haven't we reached a critical level in a reduction of staffing? Teachers are the blood and heartbeat of a school. If you cut them, you are only slowly bleeding your community, school, and future businesses. Cutting teachers will result in higher class sizes, lower test scores. Again, I'm an educator in New Jersey, and I know about Governor Christie's tight school budgets. I'm very familiar with it. In my school, which is considered the fourth wealthiest in the entire country, wealthiest county in the entire country, we have not bought new textbooks for my freshman history class in 10 years. We have a leaky gym roof for 3 years. And we have, I have my classroom cleaned once a week, if I'm lucky. We have survived and learned to adapt to tough financial situation. Test scores continue to go up in my school. It's not the books, it's not the programs, it's not the buildings, but the parents, community, and teachers that inspire and motivate our children. It is time the Easton Area School Board steps up for the children in this district. This is why you are serving this position. Please consider these suggestions. Thank you.
Thank you.
Hi, my name is Kim Puregalini, and I'm employed by Family Connection, which is the family center in the Easton Area School District. I am the after-school program coordinator at Cheston Elementary School. Thank you for giving me a chance to speak tonight. Our after-school program is called the Cheston Cougars Learning Club, or CCLC. CCLC is one of several programs that Family Connection offers. Others are family support and case management, Parents Who Care, Kindergarten Connection, and the Parent-Child Home program about which Frida Fries spoke earlier. CCLC has been a very effective partnership with the Easton Area School District since 2004. The program was launched as a 21st century community learning center, and Family Connection raised the funds that were necessary when state funding was no longer available. During this school year, we have provided about 120 students in 1st through 4th grade with 4 days of after-school programming each week. Students in our after-school program are recommended by Cheston teachers because they will benefit from the academic or social support. And then we interview the families, and through these interviews, we often are able to make referrals to other Family Connection programs and to connect the families with other community resources as needed. Cheston Cougars Learning Club includes classroom time with certified teachers, support from America Reads tutors at Lafayette College, homework completion with volunteers from the Future Educators and the Honor Society students at the high school, Lafayette student tutors, students from education courses at the community college, and also members of the community. The program also teaches social and emotional skills using the Mudagrees curriculum, which was developed by Yale schools of the 21st century. Over the past 8 years, CCLC has helped students improve their classroom behavior, grades, and performance on standardized assessments, such as their DIBELS and PSSA scores. One example who comes to mind is a 4th grade girl new to Cheston who moved here from Columbia this year. She was very hesitant to communicate during the school day, so her ESL teacher recommended her to our CCLC program. We observed a dramatic transition in her. She blossomed as she worked one-on-one with a high school aide who supported her English language acquisition while they enjoyed reading bilingual books. Her vocabulary quickly expanded and her confidence improved significantly. Through our employment of high school students, they serve as student aides in our program. We have enabled them to not only mentor and model for the elementary school students, but we also have solidified their career aspirations. 2 former student aides in our CCLC program are currently visible at Cheston during the school day. Mario Amato has been a student teacher in Mrs. Skoglin's IU20 classroom, and Jessica Harbridge, another former CCLC program aide, has come back after receiving her teacher certification to serve as a substitute teacher in the district, and she works in our after-school program as well. We also have a 3rd student who previously worked for CCLC in our audience. Patrick Noel is a student at the community college in his early stages of an education career to pursue teaching in the secondary level. So I would like to thank you for giving me the opportunity to speak tonight. I've invited the board to come to see our program firsthand, and I'd like to thank Dr. Moskaitis and Mr. Pinnabone, who did take the opportunity to visit CCLC during the school year, and to ask for all of your continued support for Family Connection. So many lives have been positively impacted over the 8 years that the CCLC program has been offered at Cheston. We urge you to maintain the district funding for the Family Connection programming within the Easton School District. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Stand with me. Good evening. My name is Lisa Bedoya, and I am the Program Coordinator for Family Support, Parents Who Care, and the Health Insurance Dental Initiative of Family Connection. I'm here to ask you to continue funding Family Connection. The Family Support Program consists of 2 staff members who work with families from all 7 elementary schools and the middle school. Guidance counselors, nurses, teachers, and other school staff refer families to us. A family may be referred for a number of reasons, including housing, health insurance, transportation, after-school programs, parenting, child care, and general support. Once the referral is made, we meet with families to identify goals, remove barriers, and most importantly, build a trusting relationship. One of my greatest accomplishments in this agency is to still have regular contact with families I started working with in 1998. Removing barriers to promote school success is not always easy. Many times we meet with parents when they are in crisis. Prioritizing and breaking things down into baby steps makes reaching their goals more manageable. If the family is homeless, we have contacts at shelters and transitional programs that we can call on their behalf. If a parent is looking for a child care center, we don't just give them a list. We find out which places are affordable, closest to their homes, provide transportation to and from their child's school, offer scholarships, or accept subsidy. We can also assist families by providing them with toiletry bags so some of their money can be freed up to pay bills. We provide transportation to school meetings and offer scholarships to after-school programs. If a family is in need of counseling, we may need to first help them obtain health insurance and then find a counselor. By doing these things and more, we help to create stability within the family and ultimately school success. Each year, we host an insurance sign-up event. Representatives from CHIP and Department of Public Welfare meet with parents to answer questions and fill out applications on the spot. We provide additional support by following up with the families and reporting back to our school nurses. Twice a year, we offer a family wellness program called Parents Who Care in partnership with the Family YMCA of Easton. These groups are held once a week for 6 weeks. Parents are in a group while children receive swim lessons. The purpose of the program is to improve the parent-child relationship and communication. When parents are asked what they hope to get out of the program, they usually say it's to get their kids to listen to them. At the end of the program, they tell me what they learned is to listen more to their kids. Over the past 14 years, the feedback I received from guidance counselors, school nurses, and others is that the support of Family Connection has helped them to focus more on their job. I cannot imagine the school district without a Family Connection, not only because of the support we provide to our families and students, but also to the school staff. Thank you.
Thank you.
Hi, my name is Deborah Noel. This is my son, Patrick Noel. My daughter, Jada, is not here today. I'm a resident of South Side of Easton. I'm here tonight to ask you not to cut the funding to Family Connection. Family Connection has changed my life over 13 years. I was a mom at Cheston with a son in 2nd grade and a baby on the way. I was asked to come into the school for a meeting because my son was struggling in school. I was new to Easton and didn't know a lot about how school systems work. I also didn't know what to do to help my son be successful. But I wanted to do everything I could to support him. The IST teacher told me about Family Connection, and soon after I met Lisa Bedoya. Lisa has helped me understand what was going on in the school with Patrick. With her support, I was able to help Patrick be the best student he can be. And today, I am so proud because he's a college student and wants to be a physical education teacher. A few years later, my daughter Jada was in the Parent-Child Home Program. Her home visits helped me help Jada get ready for school. I wish that I had that for Patrick. A few years after Patrick applied for a job with Family Connection and was hired to work in CCLC after-school program, it was his first job, and it helped him learn about what it is like to be a productive citizen. To this day, I still call Lisa at Family Connection when I need help or just need to talk. I am grateful for the relationship I have with Lisa. Because of Family Connection, I'm confident that I can help my children, and I feel good about their education in the Easton Area School District. Without Family Connection, I would not have learned how to connect and get support for my children to be successful in life. So I am asking you to think about how Family Connection helps families like mine so that all children can be successful in school.
Thank you.
Mr. President, can I make a comment, please, for the project?
I'd like to just hold all comments so we hear everything.
Okay.
Thank you. Would somebody else? Okay. Yes.
Good evening. My name is Curtis Ting. I'm a resident of Forks Township, resident of the district, parent of a child within the district, and also proud spouse of a teacher within this very school that we're in tonight. I'm also an accountant for a Dow 30 company, so I have a lot of background with budgetary and finance, forecasting, etc., and regular business matters as well. Within what I've been reading and seeing on the budget and hearing about comments that board members have been making in the newspapers, although this is my first meeting that I'm attending, but discussions that I've had with people that have attended meetings, what I've read in the papers, I'm a little bit disconcerted with some of the stuff that I'm reading and hearing, even some of the stuff that I'm hearing tonight. I'm aware that there's the potential issue for teachers being cut. Okay, it is what it is. Is that really necessarily the way? Are we going to strip our district down to a bare minimum? Are we going to damage our school district? One of the reasons I moved to this area 7 years ago is because Easton Area School District, while may not be one of the greatest school districts in the entire area, the region, the state, etc., is a fantastic school district, has good class sizes, has great class offerings, has good course offerings, has good sports offerings. It has one of the greatest diversities out of any school district, I think, in almost the entire state of Pennsylvania, which is one of the reasons that we chose to move into the school district in general. Okay, so stripping teachers, is that the answer? I don't know. I'm not coming to you with answers tonight, but I'm trying to invoke some thought on this. Cutting programs. I understand there's a lot of programs that have been on the chopping block. Some sports programs. I understand that one of the programs that was even discussed cutting was one of the lacrosse programs. Lacrosse is huge in this area. Lacrosse is huge in college. It's huge in Ivy League colleges. We're going to strip another one of our programs? Okay, if not that one, then we're going to strip some other ones. What are we going to do? We're going to strip down everything? Going to cut sports? All these ideas. If we strip down our school district, what's left? Now all of a sudden, you're complaining about $100, $150 raises of property taxes. What happens when your property taxes drop $10,000? I mean, the property values. Because now people don't want to move into this area because the school district has been stripped. I don't care about a $150 increase in my property taxes. Raise it $250. I'm concerned about a $20,000 drop in my value of my property. I've seen my property drop $100,000 in value in the past 5 or 6 years. Okay? Now, that's not related to the school district, but is the school district going to add more to it now? I mean, it's ridiculous. You want to cut raises. You want to freeze raises. You know, I work hard at my job. I expect a raise when I do a good job. Okay? Our school district, we have employees. We have union personnel. We have administrative personnel. Everybody there, I guarantee most of them are doing a fantastic job. My son's teacher is one of the best teachers I've ever seen anywhere. I think she deserves a raise. I would be appalled if we were going to say no raise for her. There's other administrative personnel that I've seen who are fantastic personnel. They deserve a raise. They do a great job. And we're going to say no to them? I'm going to expect a raise at my job and say, no, you don't deserve a raise because I don't want my taxes to go up? Raise my taxes. Raise everybody's taxes. And any board member who's going to sit here and say they are going to refuse to give any tax increase just on a sense of principle, well, you know what? Don't take a raise in your own job as well. How dare you take a raise in your job if you're going to say that all these employees of the school district should not get a raise as well? I mean, as far as the raises, I have 55 seconds left. You want to freeze everybody's raises, freeze everybody's pay. What's that going to do to morale? What do people have to strive for? People strive to do a good job. Why? Because they want to make more money. Yes, in the teaching profession, it's different, though. A lot of these teachers, they take a tremendous pride in their job in wanting these students to learn and excel and provide value to this world. I know my wife does that every single day, and I see other teachers that do it. Okay? That will crush morale. 2.2% tax increase, raise it 5%. Go for the gusto. We have no choice. The contracts are what they are. This is what it is. We have no choice. Taken from the reserve fund, you exhaust it. What happens if we need a new roof or some other expense? Then we have no money. Then you're going for a 10% tax increase. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Did I see some other hands? I'm not seeing any hands. I know there's a couple comments, and I'm going to actually call on Mike in a second to start with. Yes, Mike. You know, there's a couple facts I think that have to go out there, and Mike, you can elaborate on them. I think the first ends up being that we understand 2.2 is the cap that we can raise taxes. That's by state law at this point. So that's the cap that we can go. So now everything in our discussion is, how do you come down to stay within what you can raise? That's the first level of getting at, let alone any deeper. But just so everybody understands, because I heard a couple comments there about going over the 2.2, and I also heard some comments thinking about the cuts, but the cuts are even trying to get it down to live within the 2.2 max. So, and Mike, you may have a couple more facts to add to that, as far as where the state law is and what we can do that way.
No, you're right on point. 2.2, again, I said earlier that the decision was made back in January not to exceed that. At this point, we do not have that option to go over the 2.2.
And Mike, just to expand on that, even when you go over the 2.2, it can only be for certain purposes. It's not just in general. We can't just pull a number out of the air. You have to have certain conditions that you met or certain programs only.
That would be for the non-referendum exceptions. We could go further than that if we went to referendum for the public to vote on.
And I saw two other colleagues down there, Frank and Janet, take turns.
Mr. President, I just wanted to thank all the speakers today and just touch on a little bit the gentleman, I'm sorry, your name again, sir? Mr. Phillips. Mr. Phillips, you know, you brought up some ideas, and I think we need to be perfectly clear as a board that the ideas you brought up and others have brought up are nothing we haven't heard of and are nothing we have not considered. I think as a board, we have been working extremely hard going through all options, and we are not done. The presentation that was shown last week was to show a 2.2, a 1.7, a 0. Okay, as a board, I think we all want to know all the options, have all the information before we make a vote. So I want everybody to understand that we are continuing to look. I can show you my emails on Easter Day with board members, about 15 of them. We were going back and forth with ideas. So we are continuing to look at everything. You know, I want to assure everybody that Family Connections, the group that came up and spoke, Family Connections is a tremendous asset to my community, to the district. You guys do a wonderful job. Mr. Phillips and the gentleman that spoke last, you know, I applaud you coming up here and speaking. I applaud the fact that we can raise taxes as high as we want, and you guys will be able to deal with that. And I pray you never, you know, you're never in a position where you can't deal with that. But as we heard from Ms. Fries, she had kids that came to her school that didn't have breakfast. I can assure you the elementary school girls did not skip breakfast because they were putting their makeup on. Kids don't have it, and I applaud the fact that you do, and I hope you never go without that. But reality is there are people struggling here, and we're looking at all of them. You know, we're looking at the taxpayer who can afford as high as you want to go, and we're looking at taxpayers that can't afford anything. So, you know, I just wanted to make it clear that, you know, we have all this in mind, and we are working extremely hard. No decisions have been made, and we're going to continue to work. Thank you.
Hi, I wanted to comment to Patrick. I'm sure you don't remember me, but I remember you, Patrick Noel. Mrs. Matthews, I remember when you were in second grade at Cheston School, and I remember that you were the sweet little face that used to show up every day in the second grade line to come into school. And that is the year that Family Connection came to Cheston when I was teaching there. To see what this program has evolved into from its beginning is unbelievably touching. And to hear the families that have been improved and been given opportunities because of Family Connection and Project of Easton. Trust me when I tell you, I hear you, and there is nothing I would like better than to keep Family Connection at Cheston and wherever else you are with Project of Easton. Jessica, I received your invitation to Cooking with Books. Okay, Cook with the Book, okay. Could I ask you to provide me with a few more of those invitations? Okay, and what are the other fundraisers which you have coming up? Thank you.
Are there any other comments at this point?
I would just like to say one thing. I was absent the last meeting, but I was by phone listening in, and I do want to comment on the history of our budgetary process. I've been on the board for almost 5 years now, and, you know, it has been a difficult road. When we first got on, we were looking at a great reserve of funds, and the economy was doing much better. And the last 3 years, it has been dramatically different, as we all know. And there And we're taking all of that into account as we look at our budget and as we look at the decreased funds that we're getting from the state and the federal government, which is compounding the problem. So we, as a school district, are faced with having to look at what can we do with what we have and what we're able to tax people and what our community members can afford to be taxed for quality education. And I applaud the budgetary process with Mr. Seminetta, that he's done a phenomenal job at going through and trying to find things that we can tweak and cut back a little bit on different things, such as not renewing or buying a new series of books, looking at the curriculum, thinking of ways we can do it differently, maybe, and more effectively, doing professional development of teachers, less costly. There's been a significant number of things. Family connections is the last thing I think any of us would want to see go, because we do recognize the value of that program that they bring to our school district, and the partnership is just, we can't speak loud enough terms regarding the partnership with the community as Family Connections and the school district. But I think that when we look at our budget, it is a nightmare because the main problem that we have with our budget right now is, unfortunately, 5 years ago, we underwent a contract, and I value teachers as much as anyone. I think that they deserve their raises that they get, and I would never say that that's not a deserved entity of their contract. My concern is the contract went above and beyond what the district could afford at that time, and it continues to compound year after year. And some unions have come forward within our district and have been gracious enough to offer a pay freeze for 1 year a year, which has been met with the board is very grateful for that. The teachers union came to us last year and were offering, and they did offer a huge incentive for us to save money within their contract. This year they are not. Our administrators have offered their pay freeze. So we're trying to do things correctly. I know each budget, I look at the budgets within each of the departments and they've cut greatly. I would say, I would make recommendations regarding the athletic department. I mean, you cut one sport versus maybe cutting back on assistant coaches so you can maintain your varsity sports and your JV sports, but perhaps not have as lofty a coaching staff. Something so that we can still have the extracurricular students. But these are all things that we need to look at as we move forward. And, until we complete our budget process, I think that that's still things that are out there that we probably can still discuss. But I do want everyone to recognize that we are trying really hard to make sure that our job is to maintain a quality education at what the community can afford. And we will continue to work at that as diligently as we can.
Okay. At this point, I'll ask if anybody would like to address the board on any non-agenda items. I know Mr. Anderson's not in the audience tonight. Okay, with that, I'm going to ask for a motion to recess, because what we're going to do, we're going to take a short break here, and when we hear that Mr. Panto has arrived, we will re-adjourn. Maybe 10 minutes after he arrives, but we will re-adjourn, and the whole subject and everything at that point will be on the KOZ, and then I will be asking for any public comment on the KOZ. So those will be the last 2 items on tonight's agenda. Yes.
Before we make a motion, I just received an offer before we walked in. The Miss Helen Jones of the bus drivers and the Teamsters have offered at no charge, they'll do it on their time, to run buses, shuttle buses from Palmer, Forks, Southside, West Ward, downtown, to bring parents and residents to the meetings and take them back home afterward. So I think that's a good thing. If there's anything we can do to, put that out there, I think that's something that would be a benefit. It's no charge to the district or anything of that. The Teamsters have decided to do that on their own time, for no pay, and get the residents and members of the community to participate in the meetings if they so choose.
Yeah, and Mike, you were aware of that as well? Okay.
I just got on the way in, and I thought that's something, since we're barreling down on time here, we should bring that up immediately, just to put out there.
Okay, so I will ask for the motion to recess. Do we have a second? All those in favor, aye. Opposed?